Hello and welcome back to 52%, the show that talks about everything and anything going on in Liverpool and beyond from the perspective of 52% of the population, which is still women. We've been away for a couple of weeks over Christmas break, and as it's our first episode back, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
This show then we're going to be talking about New Year's resolutions and if we're brave enough to try something new. So here's what's coming up on today's show. So we're going to be talking about trying new things in the new year, and that could be anything from an instrument, a sport, a hobby, or do you know what? Just even smiling more. Something as simple as that.
Good idea.
Brilliant idea. We're joined today by Jenna Downing, who is not only a world champion inline skater, but also dedicated to helping people, especially young women, get into sport. Hello, Gemma.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Welcome to 52%.
Thank you for having me.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
So, for any aspiring inline skaters out there, tell us about how you got into the sport and how anyone else can get into the sport.
Well, I started skating when I was 7 years old. My mum just came in from work one day with a pair of skates from Argos in a bid to just get me involved doing something positive with my life, because where I grew up, it was quite a deprived area. There was a lot of antisocial behaviour going on. So my mum's aim was to get me involved doing something positive with my life.
Yeah.
As a young kid, sport really wasn't for me. So when my mum walked in with a pair of skates, I thought to myself, what on earth are you playing at, Mum? But I had to go on these skates, and straight away it was something I loved. I was good at it straight away, and I took to it really naturally. So ever since then, it's been my number one passion, and it's been something I've done throughout my whole life.
How old were you then?
I was seven when I started.
That's amazing.
7 when I started, and so it was actually a few weeks after that when I was introduced to my very first skate park with ramps and different obstacles to skate on, and being an adrenaline junkie, it was my dream.
At 7?
At 7.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been awesome. I love it.
That was inspired of your mum to get the What made her get the skates though? Why skates? Why not something else? Do you know what I mean? I mean, what?
Yeah, so when I was really little, I would try everything from gymnastics to dancing, but it wasn't really my cup of tea. But skating, I just loved it. I loved going down ramps, trying tricks, trying jumps on my skates. Any extreme sports I'm a fan of. That's just me and who I am, but now I've managed to achieve a career out of something I love doing.
So how did you get from it being just something fun that your mum wanted you to do so you didn't mix with a bad crowd, for example, to becoming a career? That's just from one extreme to the other.
That's right, yeah, good question. So at 7, this first day when I went to the skate park, I remember being turned away on the basis that I'm a female, and I was told that girls can't do this sport. So after being outraged and going home, I went back week after week after week until I was finally allowed in.
Good for you.
Yeah, I didn't give up, and I kept going. And yeah, the guys that worked there finally watched me skate and were kind of blown away by my talent and potential. And they just said to me, wow, we think you've got something special. Why don't you come back and skate with us? And week by week, every day after school, I would practice and I got into competitions.
So
did
was
you?
it,
Sorry, Maisie. Go
Sorry,
on.
love. Was it the guys that turned you away that worked there then?
That's right,
What
staff
you-
members that
The
worked
staff
there.
members?
Yeah,
A 7-year-old girl? They said,
7-year-old girl.
go away, you're a girl, you can't skate.
Yeah, I was
Unbelievable.
laughed at, and
I
told I couldn't
suppose,
do
though,
this.
it is quite a different kind of sport. If you see a little minx of a girl turning up wanting to throw herself around, do you find that you had to impress even more than the young boys, for example? You had to go over and above what would have been seen as to have been great for a 7-year-old. You had to be super great and even better.
Absolutely, I had a real point to prove, and growing up in this sport, my dream was to beat the boys. That's all I ever wanted. My dream wasn't to become a professional or to become a world champ. It was just to beat the boys, and that's what inspired me and drove me to improve and carry on. And as I worked harder and harder, I was competing and winning against the boys. prize.
Really?
So
Wow.
hard work does pay off.
Yeah.
How old were you when you first did that? How, you know.
So my very first competition, I was 7, and out of 250 boys in London, I got last place. Okay, but I soon started to see that the harder I worked, the better I was placing. And the year later at 8, I started to compete internationally against women then.
Yeah.
And I turned pro at 12. I was the youngest girl in the
12.
world.
Turned professional at 12.
And
Professional
how
at
many
12.
hours a week do you reckon you were putting in terms of practice?
Every day, after school, every day, all
For how
weekend,
long?
I would skate. So I'd be straight to the skate park after school, and I'd skate until about 9 o'clock at night, and then I would skate all weekend. And then obviously the older I got, gym work and the cardiovascular side of it, that's something I've
So
really
that
had to
you've
work
been
on.
really dedicated, but it's obviously a passion of yours. But they do say it takes 10,000 hours of work, don't they, to become you sort of Mozart or prodigy of some sort. But you've obviously put it in.
That's right, it's taken me 13 years to become a world champion. So
Wow.
I'm guessing that's been way more than 10,000 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah.
So is at 12 then you were professional? Is that the youngest professional sports person ever?
I was the youngest ever female in my sport to become a professional. So, and I was always told no, it wouldn't be possible because I was too young or because I'm a girl. There was always some kind of judgment against me growing up. So to finally achieve that goal, I was like, wow, this is incredible. And then my life changed massively.
Well, someone who hasn't had 10,000 hours worth of skate is Gaelle. We sent her down. In fact, she's never even been on an ice skating rink. So we thought we'd do something lovely for her, and we sent her to Silver Blades Ice Rink, which is in Widnes, to see how she got on. Watch this, VT.
Can stand nice and strong with the arms.
Yeah,
That's it, there you go.
okay.
You got it.
I'm really scared of falling. Jesus. Right. Oh, jeez. Right.
There you go. That's it.
Oh, whoa.
That's it.
Yeah. Look, apparently I'm doing great for a first time. So, today we're talking about resolutions for the new year. I'm here at the rink,
Silver Blades Ice Rink in Widnes.
yes, in Widnes. Can you tell us maybe if there are lots of people starting ice skating like that, or do you have to start it when you're a kid? Maybe it's more like this.
Ice skating's for any age, really. We have a lot of little ones that start from maybe 3-4 years upwards, and then as you can see behind you, there's a lot of adult members. There's a big adult community within the ice skating. There's different disciplines, so whether you start off with maybe figure skating, dancing, speed skating, the ice hockey, there's all sorts of different disciplines, so there's no real age limit at all.
Yeah. And can you tell us maybe why we should do ice skating? What's the good thing about it?
For myself and for a lot of my pupils, it's the family community feel. So you don't just come down to get fit and do ice skating. You come down, you create a lot of friends. You know, there's job opportunities, whether it be you do a little bit of coaching, you have the shows. There's all sorts of different things that you can do. In regards to the fitness, you know, it's fantastic for your legs and bums and tums, and you don't realise what kind of muscles you're using. So you'll find maybe you'll come ice skating one day with the kids for 2 or 3 hours, you'll wake up the next morning, you'll go, I've got muscles I didn't even know I had before. So it's fantastic for the body, and it's good fun as well. It's an enjoyable way. You don't realise what kind of fitness you're introducing into your body, really.
And so you, Jade, you're a coach. How long have you been doing that?
I have been coaching for the last 7 years. I've been here and there with shows and bits and bobs in between, a little bit of competing. I've been here for the last 8 months. And I must say this is one of the best rinks I've worked in, and the best community again, bringing up that community feel again.
Would you say how long it takes to learn figure skating?
Anywhere between maybe a couple of months, 6 months, up to 2-3 years. You start within the first couple of months, you can learn the basic jumps and the basic spins. When you start introducing extra half turns or full rotations in the air, that's when it starts to you really start to develop and progress and move up.
So it's all a matter of equilibrium, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I've never done that before. Maybe you can show me a few tricks how to do it?
I can
okay,
do.
because I've got like the proper starting things.
Okay.
So,
How about we do? So we can bend our knees just like this. If we start to rotate our toes towards each other, you'll find you'll just do a little half a turn. That's it. And again, towards me. There you go. And you'll find from here, the more confident, the more you bring your toes towards each other.
It's really hard.
That's
Okay.
it.
Oh my god.
That's it. Now you're doing a fab job. The more confident you feel and the more kind of balance that you get as well, you'll find you'll work up in stages. You can do 1 revolution, 2, 3, and then you'll find you just turning and turning. You do those change positions.
Great. Should we go have a little tour then?
Yeah.
Great. So I've just caught up with Scott. Scott, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good.
So you're a hockey coach here. Can you tell us maybe a little bit like how do you get into that?
Yeah, I mean, the coaching side of things is very fresh to me. I've played professional for the last 12 years, and since I was a small child, I've wanted to play hockey, and yeah, so it's kind of been my background my entire life, and this year I was fortunate enough to get a full-time coaching role up here in Widnes.
Yeah. And is it more for girls or boys? Usually you see more guys, right?
It is more for men, I would say, but what we're trying to do at the moment is really boost the women population in ice hockey. And we have done a few promotions and stuff, and we have hockey basics for children, adults and women. So, you know, we're trying to get away from that stereotypical view of it's just for men. We want to try and promote the women.
And so when you start hockey, I mean, obviously you've got to know how to ice skate first.
Yep.
So how long do you have to know how to ice skate before you start hockey?
Well, I mean, what we try and do is we try and get people to come along, and we have the appropriate people on the ice to teach them how to skate. And what we don't want to do is say, no, you can't try it. We want them to come along, learn to skate with us, and then when they're ready, we move them onto the ice hockey. So they get to be a part of the environment, and you know, it's not only just about being on the ice, it's the off-ice experience. People just need to come down and try it, and even just walk in the door and you can have a look at what we've got on offer. It's just a range of experiences for people to come and look at.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Well, that's good. That's like for the resolutions this year. Try ice skating and hockey.
Do it.
Welcome back. It's our first episode back in 2016, so we're talking about our New Year's resolutions. Not that I've made any, but I'll encourage all of you to make some resolutions. Let's talk about, though, Jenna, these skates and skating that you do. We've just seen Gaelle on the ice skate rink. Have you ever ice skated?
I have ice skated. I used to ice skate actually when I was rollerblading growing up. It was something else I really enjoyed doing. It's very similar to rollerblading. It's just transferable skills. So if you can do one, you can do the other.
Anybody else ice skate?
Been ice skating. I used to go quite a lot, but not for years.
Yeah.
It's something I'll do again with the kids now.
I've
But,
been
yeah.
with the kids and I cling. I mean,
I
fair
love
play
it.
to Gaelle. She was
She was
fantastic.
standing up.
She
She
stood up.
She stood up.
She did the report.
turned and- Yeah.
There was none of this hanging onto the
No, no,
side
no.
and, you know, cursing the children.
I went with a couple of mates once and they just took me out into the centre of the rink and left me there.
Yeah.
And then skated around while I did what Gaelle was doing, which was all of that. So, you know, a fair play to just standing up straight. That's what I say.
I used to rollerblade. I did rollerblade, but roller skate. You know, roller booting discos. We used to go to when I was about 10.
Yeah.
And that's what I used to every week. So I used to
Yeah.
love that.
Good fun.
And I think from then, like you say, you get used to the motion,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and then you get into
It's
skating
about
and
balance, isn't it?
yeah.
All those
Distribution of weight.
roller boots, they've all come back into fashion, all the retro ones. But these, the inline skates, tell us about what's so great about these.
Okay, so my skates are very special to me. I don't know if you can see, but on the back they've got my name on them.
Yeah.
And that's because these are my very own signature skates. So my sponsor brought these out. I designed them to look like this. And my skates with my name on are sold across the world. And I'm proud of them because I'm the first girl in my sport and I'm still the only girl to have their own signature skate with their name on. So
That is fabulous. You should be proud. And this medal, which is Action Sports Champions, Seattle.
yes, that's my World Championship gold. So these two are probably two of my proudest achievements. Yeah. But Breast Cancer Care was who I teamed up with to release this skate. So I donated all the proceeds from my skate towards Breast Cancer Care. Which
Can these be bought online?
They can be bought, yes, they can be bought across the world. But they've sold out now. They've been out a couple of years now, so they've all gone. So there's talks of me having another skate now coming out in the next year.
You
or so.
should do, yeah.
Right,
So,
fantastic.
yeah.
So, but they won't be like the ones I used to have where it was 2 pieces of metal that came together on the thing and you had to... Do you remember there was a spanner?
Just strapped
Oh, dear. Yeah, I'm showing my age here.
I've actually got a pair of them in the loft at my mum's. And now we're moving by the sort of the river. I'm going to get them out. You've inspired me now.
Good, get your
Because
skates
you're
out.
moving by a river.
Well, it's a promenade, you know, it's easier to skate on.
Right, okay. I just thought it was a bit of a...
Rather than the bumpy, yeah.
You get a little
Blow me
parachute
down.
thing and go drag racing with your skates, couldn't you?
On the report there, we saw how Gaelle was being taught something that she, you know, was a completely new skill to her. How easy is it, though, to teach an older person, not necessarily an elderly person, but an older person, something new? We all assume that it's just kids that are taught new things. What about somebody like, you know, Kath's age, for example?
Yes, well, just talk about
Just
my
to
age
touch
for a
on
minute.
Kath's
This
age.
programme's called 52%, and today it's my 52nd birthday. You see. So, hey! But I've taken up something
Happy
new
birthday.
recently because a friend has given me a piano on long loan, and I was learning it from when I was 30 to about 32. Then my piano was stolen, so I've now got this new piano. And I've started relearning what I learned then, and I'm getting so much out of it. It's a real something to focus on, takes my mind off everything. There was J.S. Bark
so
yesterday, darling. Bark, yeah, barking up the wrong tree. I was, yeah, it sounded
My
like it
brother-in-law's
anyway.
done the same thing. He's recently started to learn the piano, and I've been astounded by how good he is at a late age. You know, as you're talking like late 30s. So
late 30s.
38, yeah.
And
And
I'm surprised at how quickly
it is-
it's sort of come
yeah.
back to me, and actually how quickly I'm moving forward from there. I mean, I probably would have been easier had I been a child, but then again, had I been a child, I might have resented it
if you wanted to
because
stay
my
away.
mother or my father would have been going, "You've got to do your practicing," whereas
You
now.
were saying something about that, weren't you? About how, you know, like all mums, I'm sure we all will do, I will, go to ballet, go to trampolining,
that's
go
my
to,
mum.
you know.
Yeah.
But none of it stuck, did
None
it?
of it
So-
stuck, and I believe there's something for everyone, and that's what I speak to young people about. Go out there and find your passion. What is it that ignites you? What is it that, you know, you have that passion for in your heart? Because dancing wasn't for me, swimming wasn't for me, gymnastics, none of it. But skating, something so different and unique, has absolutely changed my life. It clicked, and it's something I love doing. So there is something for everyone.
And you
long
have
would
to
it
just
take
keep
you to-
trying, don't
Sorry,
you?
Maisie.
Love. You have to just keep trying, don't you, to find that thing.
Yeah.
Because that's the issue. Some people give up before they've found whatever it is that's going to fire them.
That's it. There's so many different things out there now. You know, you've got Zumba, you've got all these different dance classes going on that you can go and take part in. There's so many different exercise options out there. There's something for everyone if you want to get fit.
I suppose it's better than the usual start to the new year, isn't it? You know, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to eat healthy, I've one of me 5 a day, I'm going to take skating up. It's
That always seems to be
Yeah.
about denial, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Whereas this could be more a replacement thing. So you're doing something else with your time rather than lighting the cigarette or chomping on the chocolates
There's
or
an
whatever.
element as well when you've been a kid and done a sport and not done it for years and years of, it's like it's not hard going to pick something up again, like you say, and do the piano, or for me getting the rollerblades back on. It's kind of, there's a fun nostalgic side of it, maybe something that you've done before that you want to do again. You know.
Can you see yourself doing it though, Jenna?
Yeah, I've said.
Can we see you doing it
def-
now?
I've not done it for years, but I'd like to think if I did, and I'm not going to, but if I did, I'd be all right because I'd give me a little bit of time, but I'd get it'd come back hopefully. Yeah.
It's like riding a bike. If you've done it before, it might be 10, 20 years, you'll pick it back up.
Yeah.
And it will come easily.
Hope so.
Promise.
I think with the older people learning things, we can actually block ourselves, and that in fact you can, like you're finding, that you know the piano's coming back and all of that, and that you can learn all these new things, you know, and all the rest of it. There isn't
me in the first place to pick up something at an older age, and this is when I was 38. I was watching one of these films about Bruce Lee. After his death, his main number one
played the
student, his main number one student after his death took over his Jeet Kune Do School of Kung Fu. This guy only started learning at 30.
Yeah.
And this was one of the most disciplined forms of martial arts going, and he hadn't done any other form of martial art before, and he became #1 black belt. And I thought, hang on, I'm sitting there at 38 with 2 small children thinking, I haven't got any time for me anymore. So right, I'm getting a piano, and that's what made me do it. And I found it inspirational. I'd love to see more people of my generation giving something new a go.
As we get older, though, don't we? What you don't have when you're younger. So you know, tenacious sort of attitude of, I'm not giving up. I'm going to, you know, take on the boys. And I think when we get older, we have more inhibitions about things, and we worry more. And what about failure? You know, we worry about that, don't we? I think
what you said before about we take our children to football, ballet, rugby, gymnastics. Is that because we never fulfilled our dreams in those sports or hobbies? So we not force our children to do it, but, you know,
We're projecting onto them.
automatically we say, well, don't you want to go dancing? Don't you want to play football? Because it's something we wanted to do, and we don't necessarily always listen to what our children want to do or what their passions are and their interests are. I mean, if you look back, can you see before Mum took you or bought you the skates, had she seen anything in you that made her think skating, that's what's going to do it for her?
I'd always been a bit of a wild child, I suppose. I loved going fast, you know, anything a bit dangerous. I loved it. So I think my mum knew sport was the answer for me. I just hadn't found the sport that I was interested in. So my mum thought, she must have thought, obviously, these skates are what's going to give her, just that focus, allow her to get rid of all that energy. And it did, it worked, and it was just something I've stuck at.
So do you see that in young girls or young boys now, and that's how you teach them? Do you find that little niche that you can bring out?
Yes, as soon as young people put on skates, I can tell whether they've got it or not. But it's just a fantastic thing to teach young people. In the classroom, you might get some really shy, quiet children that won't put their hand up to speak in class. But on the skates, everybody's on a level playing field. Everybody's starting from the same point, and those quiet, shy kids in the classroom just fly on the skates, and they love it, and they gain so much confidence. So I get a real buzz out of teaching others.
Would that rule apply to someone of our age? Or is it, as we've all agreed, it's that fear that holds us back?
I agree with you on the fear front. I think as you get older, it does get more scary, but I'm confident that I can teach people of any age. I do that now. I teach people of all different ages. You just need a bit more time and a bit more patience, I think, the older you are.
That confidence building.
It's the confidence building, and the last thing you want is somebody to fall over and hurt themselves and never get back on a pair of skates again. But I mean, for fitness-wise, it's fantastic. It burns more calories than any other sport out there.
Really?
So,
God,
ladies,
look at me, I'm going to be like...
great for your legs and bums. And it doesn't have any impact on the body. So no impact on the knees like running does.
Oh, really? Until you fall over.
Until you fall over. But pad up, helmets, knee pads, elbow pads. There you go, and you'll be flying.
We'll have to pause this just for a couple of minutes. After the break there, we're going to come back and we'll carry on the discussion and find out why taking up a new skill in the new year doesn't have to mean getting fit and playing a sport, as Gaelle learns a bit of piano with Pulse Music. So we'll see you after the break. Welcome back. It's our first episode in 2016, so we're talking about our New Year's resolutions and encouraging each other to try something new. Gaelle headed over to Pulse Music to find out about learning a new instrument this year.
Pulse Music is a business that provides music lessons and recording sessions for kids and adults. Located in West Allerton, the company teaches a wide range of instruments, from drum to piano, including guitar and woodwinds. I met Sarah Pickering, director of the place, who told me more about it. Sarah, you opened this place, Pulse, about 3 years ago. How did it start?
We did. Well, about 4 years ago, about 5 years ago now, 2011, with the change of government, a lot of mine and my husband's work changed. We'd done a lot of public sector, government programme type work in music and the creative arts and in education. And so all that work went, and so we decided in 2011, going into 2012, that we would set up Pulse and kind of pool all our resources in terms of our expertise, our money, and everything that we'd done before, and so we started Pulse in 2012.
Right, and so you've started it with your husband, who's a teacher.
It's Andy Pickering, and he's the drum teacher here.
Yeah.
And then we offer lessons in piano, voice and guitar mainly. We do get requests for woodwind and ukulele. So there's a whole range of instruments that people can learn here. And then we also do a couple of work. We have jobs in schools, and we also do pop star parties.
Sounds great.
Weekends.
So you're doing for kids, but also for adults, because we're talking about new activities. For kids, it's easier maybe to learn instruments, but for adults?
Well, that took us by surprise. We thought we would be mainly children, but in actual fact we do have a lot of adults who come here.
Yeah.
We have adult piano pupils, adult guitar pupils, voice, and drums we have had in the past, yes.
Right.
So that surprised us how many adults want to learn a musical instrument.
What are people telling you when they come along? Like they're like, oh well, I'm 30, I'm 40, 50, I want to learn something.
Sometimes it's a stress reliever. They have quite stressful jobs and they want something as a change from everything that they do during the week. Then other examples have been they wanted to learn when they were younger, and then they've decided once their children have started, sometimes this is the time.
Yeah.
We've had a kind of Tuesday afternoon, a lot of people retired.
Right.
Now's the time to do something for myself. So I'd say they were the main reasons why adults, and they're really lovely, lovely customers.
Caroline, you are here to learn piano.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
When did you start learning?
I started in September last year.
Right.
So I've been doing kind of about 4 months now.
How's it going?
It's good, yeah. I'm a bit slow. But no, I really enjoy it. It's good for my brain to be using it in slightly different ways. So, yeah.
And what made you start, wanting to start to learn piano?
Because both my children, they're both learning piano here, and my son does guitar. And when I was young, I was a failed violinist, so I really liked the sound of the piano, and I thought it might help me support the kids if I learned, but actually they're supporting me because they're really good, and but yeah, it's good.
Helen Morrison is a young piano teacher who has been teaching for 10 years. She took a bit of time to show me a few chords and gave me some tricks to get started. Do you have to learn the theory before or not? Can you just start playing maybe?
Well, you can start playing. I'm sure that you've seen YouTube tutorials where and they're really good, and you can pick up lots and lots and lots of things. So I would say yes, in order to get yourself going, try it and go for it. Try YouTube things. Try having a look. Try learning just basic kind of chords. You don't really need to know too much about it, but theory definitely helps to expand and enhance your knowledge and make it a little bit more kind of full, I guess.
Yeah. And what would be the trick then? Because we're talking about new activities, like starting something new. What would be the trick for people to learn something new like that, like an instrument?
I would try and give them something that was challenging, but something that they could accomplish, and probably with adults, pieces of music that they wanted to learn, because sometimes it can be a bit off-putting going through children's books, which are pretty handy when it comes to theory, but the tunes aren't as exciting. So I would probably recommend, just to get yourself going, probably find YouTube tutorials of very, very simple songs that you enjoy, that you want to learn, and then that will hopefully inspire you maybe. And then if you wanted to then start to learn how to read, then perhaps incorporate that in. But obviously I'm a teacher, but I think having a teacher definitely helps, because you can have somebody critique and see what you're doing and then kind of cater it more towards you. But YouTube is still an excellent tool if you can't afford a teacher or you're not entirely sure if you want to embark on lessons.
Wow. Learning a new instrument.
Yeah.
Because Kath, you've said that you're taking up the piano.
Well, retaking it up,
but
it does feel like almost I'm going from scratch, because I didn't get very far the first time around, so I've kind of got myself almost to the point I was at when I did my grade 2. but I want to take it further now, and I'm just really enjoying it. And one of the real benefits for, you know, learning at an older age, now that I'm reaching the lovely age I am, these knuckles, I'm starting to get arthritis in these knuckles, and this one particularly swells up and becomes painful. And I've noticed that since I've been playing the piano, the pain's disappeared.
Yeah.
So that's one benefit of learning something when you're older.
Absolutely.
But I mean, if you know, as you know, I've got 2 kids. How would I be able to take? I mean, I'd love to learn to play an instrument, but it's thinking, how can I do that with the kids and the homework and work? I mean, what can you do for that?
Get them learning with you, I would say. I mean, both of my boys are learning instruments, and it's a real bonding thing. I mean, we will sit and jam together sometimes, and my goodness, you know, it's a terrible racket, but we have such a lovely time together doing it and laughing our heads off, that I think that it's a great thing to do. And, you know, a piano, for instance, either a piano teacher would come to you or you would go to them, but it's just a case of just doing a few minutes each day. It's not, I mean, if you want to get to the standard you're at in your sport, then the 10,000 hours plus. But for what I want, just to tinkle away every now and again.
You ever played anything, Lisa?
In school, I played the clarinet.
Did you?
Yeah, really badly. Yeah, I'm quite proud of that.
You should join our band. Yeah. Well, actually, I play the fiddle. I play the violin. Yeah.
Wow.
And one of my I went to music college. One of my resolutions is to practice it a bit more, to be honest, because it is great. You get very absorbed, don't you?
Yes.
You know, even if it's just, you know, making a right note, you know, you can get very absorbed in it.
Yeah.
Well, Olivia's learning the violin in school, and I've got to be honest, she's in last year juniors now, and the choices you get, you know, for your secondary school, I have actually made those choices based on her carrying on her music, because as I said before, I never did, and I kind of regret that, because I'm a massive music fan.
So there's a violin
So I don't
in your
want,
house?
Well, no, she keeps it in school.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, but I don't want the music to fall by the wayside. I want to at least have the option to do it in school. And the schools that we've gone for have really good music classes.
I do think it's really important for children to have a balanced education. I did the same for mine. I sent them to a primary school that had, you know, arts marks and things, because I didn't want it to be too academic-y. But have you taken up anything this year?
I used to, not this year yet, no. Well, a new house, a new project.
Oh, well,
Yes,
it's a New
there you
Year's
go,
resolution,
there you
isn't it?
go.
New
Yeah,
house,
lots
new
of
project.
decorating to be had.
Okay.
But music-wise, I used to play guitar for never to any standard, just a basic, very basic level. My husband plays much better than I do. But again, since you have kids, you stop practicing, and I've stopped practicing a long time ago, but our nephew's learnt, and I can't believe actually that time's gone so quickly. He learnt about 3 years ago, he started learning, and his standard is incredible. And he's overtaken my husband and everyone else, and it's nice though now. I get the guitar and I'll play the odd basic song with him. So I'm starting, and I'm like, I actually could do that, you know, and you surprise yourself that you remember things, you know.
Do you think that would be the same with skating, Jen? Or can you play an instrument?
I can't play an instrument. I wish I could. I was just thinking about what you were saying, and I think for children, it helps with schools, doesn't it? Even when applying for schools, colleges, universities. If you've got a musical talent, it puts you in really great stead.
Because if you could play an instrument and skate, there's another niche that you could go down.
Sitting around playing the piano.
Absolutely. Flute. Wind instruments actually would be really good.
Yeah, because you fall over, knock the wind out of you. See what I did there?
I'll teach you how to skate if you teach me how to play the piano.
All right,
Okay.
that's a good
There we go. That's a good deal.
Whereabouts do you teach? I did mean to ask you that.
Actually, I start next Sunday down the road from here, actually, at the Fire Fit. I'm teaching young women roller fitness. So it's how to skate, but using weights, squatting. So it involves fitness on skates. So it's young women.
Where and when?
Okay, so Fire Fit next Sunday from 3 o'clock. Okay, 7th of February.
Do you have
for
to
an
be
hour?
young?
Well, it's targeted at 16 to 25-year-old women, but let's see how successful it is. If it is successful, I'm going to open it up to women of all different ages, but that's the target group who I'm trying to focus on initially. But
Is there a reason you've gone for that age group?
just with Merseyside, that's the target group that we're trying to get young women more sporty, more active, doing something a bit more physical with their lives.
So is it a sort of council initiative or something?
Yes, so I'm getting a pot of funding from Sport England to deliver this initiative in Merseyside. So we're starting down the road from here, but then we're going to evolve across Merseyside and have it different boroughs. So come along if you can, Sunday, 3 o'clock, 7th of February.
Right, we'll have to have a look at that, won't we? Maybe this time next year, see how we've evolved.
Yes, exactly.
Or not.
Yeah.
And on that note, it's time for us to go to a break. Thank you very much, Jenna. It's been
no
fantastic
problem.
having you here.
Thank you.
Coming up after the break is What's Trending. Welcome back. This episode we've been talking about New Year's resolutions, but as usual, this is the time on the show where we get topical and talk about what's trending. In the news recently, Taiwan have just elected their first female president. Maisie, you've been looking at this. Tell us what you know.
Yeah, I've been looking at it a little bit. Chai Ing-wen, I think, if that's pronounced correctly, received over 50% of the vote, which is extraordinary, actually. So, if I remember rightly, it was over 50% of the vote. It's great that she's a female president around the world, because there are lots of things about the balance in politics between men and between women, and I think as well that the UK was ranked 35 in the world. So as a apparently developed country, as part of the first world, we were ranked 35 in the world for our balance between the representation of men and women.
What sort of countries are we looking at who are ahead of us in that?
Well, interestingly, Croatia is ahead of us, Japan is ahead of us, Poland is ahead of us.
Who would you say is number one?
Well,
hazard a guess.
Don't know actually.
Any ideas?
No. Lisa?
Would you believe it if I told you it was Iceland?
Yes.
Yes,
yeah,
actually.
I would, yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Why does that not surprise you?
I think that they're quite forward-thinking, progressive
When we
with the
look
political stuff, with the bankers
nerd
thing.
information. Sorry, nerd information. Because nerd information. Iceland was the first democracy, in the sense that they had this thing called the Althing, where everyone used to go to discuss their particular issues in terms of the country, and people used to get a say. So there's always been that sort of drive for equality.
That's brilliant.
And even in terms of, sort of like ancient texts like the Icelandic sagas, that women were very much valued. There was a character called the Deep-Minded, who was a female character in Icelandic sagas. Okay. So all I'm saying is it doesn't surprise me, because they've always been very forward thinking.
They were quite early to get the female vote, weren't they?
Yes.
I remember talking about this before Christmas.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought I'm not quite surprised with that.
So we need to channel our inner is it?
The deep-minded. Yes, we do need to challenge. Yeah. But it's astonishing that the UK, that constantly says, we're progressive this and we're progressive that, and don't get me wrong, because I think we are in many ways. We should be setting the example, really. We should be higher up those rankings.
And yet we still fall behind on gender massively, and it's actually quite shocking. Talking of gender, there's also been this talk in the papers over the weekend about passports, and should our gender be put on our passport? So should my passport say I'm a female, or should it be blank?
What's the reasoning behind it being on there in the first place? I mean, I guess it's on a lot of things, isn't it?
It's just kind of...
Driving licences as well, I think it was also saying.
I mean, your picture's there, so doesn't that pretty much say what gender you are?
Well, no, not necessarily, because of all the blurred lines now between gender and people, transgender, cross-dressing, all this sort of thing. I'm probably using totally the wrong terms, but, people will... I mean, I think of that woman, Rose is her name, from Orange is the New Black. Very beautiful, boyish girl. And she could dress as a boy or as a girl and just still be gorgeous. But if I saw a photograph of her, I wouldn't really know, boy or girl. So, but then, do we have to know that to identify a person now that we've got DNA, we've got iris recognition and everything?
And it's about labelling, isn't it? It's putting you in that category. You're this or you're that. Or where are the people that aren't quite sure meant to be?
Yeah.
Well,
that's really hard.
When you're asked to provide your ID, and it's usually your passport or your driver's licence, they both have your picture on. So if we go down the route where they take your picture off, and you've got a unisex name like Sam,
Yeah.
and you've got to provide this ID over a counter somewhere, so you're physically giving it. They're going to see what you are anyway, so what's the difference?
Yeah, I don't really see the point of it. I think it's just another method of labelling, as you say, and
Does that go
we
down?
can do without that.
Do you think it's the same as not having your date of birth? Because I strongly believe that, you know, age shouldn't make a difference when you're applying for jobs or whatever the situation is.
That's interesting, Lisa. Yeah, I'd not thought about that.
I think when it comes to your gender, there are scenarios where it does matter what sex you are. Like it all over, it does matter.
But maybe we should leave it for when that actually matters, you know, because there's been a lot of progress made in terms of challenging binary thinking, which wants you to be this or that. Yeah, and wants to stick you in those sort of binary boxes. And human beings are much more diverse than that, actually, and always have been. So
for passports, is it something we need for?
Yeah.
Probably not.
You know,
do you not think there's any security issues there or anything?
I personally don't think so, because of all the wonderful technology that we have now to help us with that.
If you're going through an X-ray, you can see whether you're male or female.
And actually, it's not relevant. We're not looking for the penis. We're looking for the gun, aren't we?
Yeah.
Is that a gun in your pocket, or are you just
when you stick your passport into one of those little doofy machines now, and it scans your face, it's not looking at whether you're male or female. It's looking at the distance between the pupils of the eyes and all the rest of it, isn't it?
Yes.
It's doing all of that type of thing. Which is much more sophisticated than just going, you know, are you male or female?
Than any penis or vagina ever has been.
We love saying these words. That would be an interesting thing if we all had to sit down and scan when we went across, wouldn't it?
So from that,
yes.
I think it's a nice segue into...
Great word, Lisa. We're liking the segue.
Into last week was such a sad week. We lost last couple of weeks, 3 big deals in their respective fields. Alan Rickman, theatre and film, Lemmy, heavy metal music, and of course David Bowie, all died or lost their lives to cancer.
At 69 or 70.
Yeah.
69 or 70.
Can you ever, in our lifetime, can we ever see that there's going to be a cure to this?
Some people say that the cure's already there, but Big Pharma's shelved it so that they can still be making money. But then, you know, that's a conspiracy theory maybe. I'm not in a position to say, but I mean, it was an awfully shocking week. You know, we've lost a lot of people lately, and it's heartbreaking. And it's not so much the fact that a disease has killed them, it's what people go through up towards death, isn't it, with cancer, isn't it? And I know that...
inhumane, isn't it?
It's dreadful.
And when you said that then, you know, about it, for us finding a cure and that, and maybe that is some way down the line, hopefully not too far, but isn't it about it making it more comfortable? Isn't it about the treatments being advanced so that we can manage it more? So look at AIDS and how manageable that can be now, you know.
It's not the stigma it once was, is it? Supposedly, you know, isn't it? Is it Magic Johnson? It's pretty much been eradicated from his bloods. Apparently so. HIV, yeah.
Really?
Gosh.
Yeah. You know, Charlie Sheen, like him, loathe him, believe him or not, he said he's pretty much clear of the disease because he has access to the funds that can give him the treatments that are necessary.
In a way, attacking the immune system, isn't it? And that kind of thing. I don't know a great deal about it, but you know, cancer in terms of that is, you'd hope that we'd be able to advance those treatments and make it livable with, if not cure it, then that's where
it's not the immune system, though. Obviously, is it?
No.
It's the cells,
It's a
isn't
mutation
it?
of cells.
It's a mutation of cells, and
yeah.
once one, you know, some of that gets hold, then
and
it can be
take
tricky.
people very early. I've just been reading Bob Marley's biography, and I think he's 32 when he was taken down by it. And you know, and these are people who have changed the world.
Absolutely.
From a political point of view as well. Bob Marley very much for his political stance in Jamaica, and very much the likes of Bowie. You know, well, Bowie changed everything, didn't he? Everything.
And Alan Rickman was a real campaigner, and on behalf of women, wasn't he? He was very vocal about that. And it's, you know, it's that we've lost these incredible creative icons, really.
But
Have we got any
haven't lost
favourite
their
moments?
work though, have
No,
we?
we haven't.
And
No,
yeah,
please.
favourite
Have we got any
moments.
favourite
Yeah.
moments?
See, Labyrinth for me, fancy David Bowie. Oh, with the long hair and the, very feminine in it, but really liked him,
Bowie, my
I mean,
favourite
music
moments
aside,
is,
I loved Labyrinth,
Yeah.
yeah.
And with Bowie, I think my favourite moment is listening to Heroes because it just brings tears
Every
down my
time you
face.
hear
That
it,
one,
yeah.
just
Beautiful song. And the dad dancing with Mick Jagger on Dancing in the Street. Dad dancing. Love a bit of dad dancing.
That was really
Dad
good.
dancing.
Yeah.
And Rickman in Love Actually.
Oh,
Just silly man. But then,
Truly, madly, deeply.
Yeah.
And, no, Love Actually.
Oh, Love Actually.
Yeah.
No, it was
sorry.
It's
Colonel
great.
Brandon, though. Colonel Brandon in Sense and Sensibility.
He's
He was
wonderful.
wonderful. It was
You just
so
forget, don't you?
Yeah, you
how
do. How many roles he's-
beautifully, artistically understated.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Yeah, and
emotional
Harry Potter.
depth without having to,
Yeah.
Sort of go overboard with all of that. It was
So understated
I
in
know,
everything he did.
which is
when he acted. it was-
brilliant.
that
And
was
what a
quite so
voice.
wonderful.
What a voice, Rickman's
Well, going
voice.
for music, of course, there was talk about changing our national anthem to unify us all. Because did you know we don't have our own,
No.
but Scotland and Wales do?
Oh, I've got the perfect song for
Oh, go on, what?
It's One Nation Under a Groove by Parliament.
Parliament? Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. That's absolutely fantastic. We should go for that one.
know.
Nation.
Does anyone know the
Can-
words?
I've
Does
got
anyone know the words? Those have got all the
God
verses.
save.
Yeah.
No.
No. So what's the point?
I've got another geek.
true,
I have
we'll
got
allow
another
it.
geek moment though, if I can.
Go on.
In fact, Scotland haven't got a national anthem. They've got a couple of songs that sort of they use. It's only Wales that has got a separate national anthem.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, if
Yeah.
I had my way, it'd be an Everton song.
One nation under
And on that note,
Yeah.
that's today's show finished, the first one of 2016. So Happy New Year to all our viewers, and we will see you next time with more exciting stuff in store. Bye-bye.